Will you introduce yourself for everybody and let them know where you are and what your style is, so I can put it at the beginning of the video?
Okay.
So we just started going.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to then? I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Renee Little. I've been tattooing since 2006. I own Gold Fang Gallery in Oklahoma City, and I specialize in illustrative realism in either full color or dot work.
Love that. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, I love her. I want to stay at her shop for like ever if I can.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I hate Oklahoma, but her shop is like beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's like my peace and serenity. I love being there.
Same. That's how it becomes. Like, if you can find someone that can like keep the integrity of a shop together, right? Keep the bills reasonably low, because every year everything gets higher, and it takes a lot of creativity to keep things low. You know, if you can find a shop owner that can do that and also be the whipping person, and also like, because there's so much that we like I would talk pretty like closely with my shop owners to know what they were stressed out about, because I would see them, they'd always be stressed out. But like, what are you stressed out about? You know, because like as a tattooer, we have our things we have to worry about.
Yeah.
And then to be a tattooer and a shop owner is
have a family and
all that stuff. Yeah. It's like nearly impossible.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be things that are going to suffer. And so I just always tell anyone, you know, that's going into a shop and they have a good shop owner, I'm like, be nice to them.
Oh my
be
God.
Courteous.
I have so much respect for her. I mean, just
she's gone through
such a big shop and she does so much. And even having a shop manager, I feel like she just still, there's just so much shit still on her plate.
Key decisions every day.
She tattoos huge pieces. Every single day is booked up. And then on top of that has her kids and her wife. And it's like, that's amazing. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy.
I think if her and I weren't as busy and involved with our businesses, we probably would be like hanging out on the weekends or something. But the fact that we just have our lives, and that's just when you get older.
But it's hard, that's like doing these interviews too, like having tattooers overlay their same schedule. I mean, it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard. It is like even that day. And I get a call from the landlord of like, this person's going to show up at this time. I'm like, shit, fine. Okay. And there's no other? No? Okay. All right. Stuff happens. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I do miss the old days when I could just like, I don't know, at least have some days that are like, no, the whole day's free. You know, like I noticed some of my closest friends that were just like become shop, like normal friends that would always be there because they were just wanting to hang out with me, you know, or like, just come and get like a small tattoo so they can check in on me. That's terrible. Like, what the hell? So yeah, no, I do really respect her, and I respect any like person that opens a shop. Like, not only is it clean, efficient, you know, something that like gives and represents something to so many people, you know. Like, she is hiring, you know, people that normally wouldn't be able to like have a position in this town. You know, I've experienced that. And me and her, I think, like, I don't know, we focus on a lot of the same things. Like, we have the same goal. Yeah. That we just want to provide a safe, clean place that also has some really cool vibes, but also is like respectful to like so many different people, you know. Like, I've walked in plenty of shops before. There's a vibe. You
they all have a vibe. Like, they all have something. I don't
know if I belong here, you know. And I can respect anyone's choice in music or whatever, but when also like, I don't know, like there is something to it where you feel safe and clean and respected, and it makes the whole experience so much better. Yeah. So I don't know, I respect her a lot, and like she inspires me a lot. Every time I go in Sacred Soul or something, I'll be like, ooh, that's cool, you know, and she comes in here.
It's gorgeous.
It's like, we kind of, we're both plant ladies.
I love the plants.
Yeah. Crystal and plants.
Yeah. So. That's the best though.
I feel very welcomed in her place. Yeah. Honestly, I think I told her once too, if I ever did shut down this place, I'd just go work for her.
I mean, it's a fucking great shop. I love the mentality. I think my favorite thing is the come and go as you please thing.
Yes.
As an apprentice, it's been really nice.
Yeah, a lot of my staff as well. They're very surprised. And I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Because most shops don't do that. It's like,
well, did you know legally?
Did
you know this? Legally. That if you're an independent contractor, your boss, shop owner, cannot tell you to show up at a time or tell you to leave at a time. Like, you can have shop hours, you know, but yeah, you're free to come and go and do your job as you please. You can't.
I didn't know that.
I know.
I didn't know that.
No, because I mean, a lot of that's happened, and I'm like, yeah, you pay rent here. Here's a key.
Yeah.
Make your appointments. Don't be late. You know.
Yeah.
We have our rules. We have a manual. Everyone knows how to respect the business. I see it as like a port. Like, I'm like some weird old, port keeper, and my ships come in. I go, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, we just need to we're going to work here, depending on how long that is. And they have to just respect the rules, my boundaries.
I feel like I respect it even more so too, giving me that freedom.
Yeah.
Like that's like you're treating me as an individual and a human. And it's nice to be able to make my own schedule. And, it's good for my clients too, especially.
Well, when you're doing appointment only as well, that just makes sense. If you have a walk-in shop and you are just counting on walk-ins, then you have to be able to tell the public, hey, we are open from this time to this time, and we will have artists available to you. But at that point, those artists should be employees of that business, because then that shop is then responsible for making appointments. That shop should be responsible for all the advertising, all the, it's like a different approach to a tattoo business. And for mine, I wanted everyone to just know exactly what the rules were, know what the boundaries were, and if everything else is good, I don't have to watch them. I don't have to micromanage them a whole lot, I am kind of like their mentor as far as if they have a problem, they can come to me. If they have really any problem.
Yeah.
And that's variables galore on that one. But if they have a problem, they can come to me as their senior artist.
Kind of like their HR.
I am HR. I am officially everyone else. The manager and my co-owner both agree that now I am officially HR. Because I'm like, okay, I don't mind. I know how to speak up, and I know my manual that I wrote really well. So I go like, actually, there's a policy on that you agreed upon. So and I think just the years of experience really has a lot to do with it, because I have experienced so many issues with clients, or just ways of communication is number one. That's the number one problem, is people just not communicating efficiently. So then there's a disturbance. So sometimes it takes just a wiser voice that has gone through it to come in and say like, oh, I see the problem. Let me translate this for you. And that's half of the battles of just trying to run a shop with young artists, middle shops, all the personalities. And I mean, every now and again, I'm surprised, but I know it's really great when I'm not surprised for a month straight. I'm like, oh, everything's just cool, normal stuff, cool. But every now and again, I get thrown for a loop, and I just kind of oh, okay, cool. Let me contact my mentor, and I call one of my people that they've been tattooing for 40 years. And so they can usually tell me how to navigate. But that's how it should be, you have one person that's in charge just because they know how to handle the situation, not because they're trying to just be in charge. There's a difference. But here, everyone does pretty well. I do help with marketing and stuff like that, but they enjoy just paying.
I think that's important
rent.
though, now in this day of age, especially, and for you being a private studio too.
Yes.
And
it's been a challenge after COVID and everything too, just because I think I don't know, there's so much more online involvement, than there was. People who weren't into social media, before COVID are now into social media because we were all trapped inside. Yeah. So like everyone had time to work on their websites. Everyone had time to like learn these platforms. Mm-hmm. And so it is definitely a lot harder to like just advertise, but I always go for the tried and true like ways about it. Like word of mouth is really good. Being involved with your community as much as you can. Like those are good ways to advertise that are like foolproof. Mm-hmm. They've been around forever. So, you know, I don't try to like do everything on social media. I still think like Skynet's going to come. It's all going to go away one day. Maybe. I'm
pretty sure I saw that there's going to be like a solar flare that's going to be really bad, and they're worried that it's going to knock out social media for a couple of months. Like just the internet in general.
Yeah. Yeah, solar flares are happening all the time, and there's just one that just has to go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And then it's done.
Yeah, we're fragile. We're fragile, you know. Humanity.
At least you would be able to like deal with it because you were in a time that you didn't have to do all the iPad shit.
Oh my God, yeah, I would just be like basking in my own yard, you know, knowing that no one would post it on the internet. Look at Renee just losing it, you know, like no, I'm just doing what I want.
Man, that's a bit of a concern though. I've known people who haven't done anything wrong, and then just somebody goes on social media and just goes off and. Boom! Now they're in trouble, and it's like,
yeah. Oh, I've got a collection going of like rumors and bullying, and it's just the wildest stuff sometimes because I think I am a private person. Mm-hmm. I think I am. So, but I feel like that's even like a bad thing to do on social media these days because people are like, "What are you hiding?"
Yeah.
So then they're just left to make up their own stuff, but that means it's really good stuff. Like it's like, oh. I did that.
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
I'm that famous? I didn't know I could even do that. Cool. Gross. So yeah, social media is weird. We used to be able to go to punk shows and like climb buildings and like, you know, I don't know. Yeah. Like live your life without the phone.
Negatives and positives.
Yes.
I went to Rocklahoma and I saw Rob Zombie play. Oh my God, I love him. He's my favorite. If I could marry him, I did. It's beautiful. Oh my God. Good. But he was so pissed because it was all people like my parents' age and they were all sitting and I was like the only one moving because I was young, and then she was like, get off your fucking phones. You didn't have fucking phones in the 90s. He was going
listen to Rob Zombie.
Oh my God. And then I went in the pit. I was the only one moving. Everybody just had their phones and was going like this.
That's because we're turning into robots.
Yeah.
Like literally the only difference between us being a robot is the phone being implanted in us. Mm-hmm. Like it's already adapted to us. It knows what we want.
I don't know. Sometimes I get really mad. I'll be around friends who are like they're in their early to mid 20s and they still like have to take a photo everywhere we go or just have to like document it. I'm like, who cares that you're eating at this place and you're doing this?
No one cares. No one cares.
Like,
yeah. Like, are you giving the recipe to that? I don't know. I love my food pictures, but I also say like, this is what I'm using inside of it, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's helpful. I don't know. But still, I think I'm not on my phone all the
constantly.
Time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, tattooing is good for that too. Like we're like,
I feel like if I'm on my phone, though, I could be making flash or painting or doing something. It's like a real time waster. And then you go on it and you think you're on it for like 10 minutes and then it's been like a couple hours and you're like, fuck, where did that time go?
There's the doom scrolling.
Yes.
Or the obsessing over your own posts.
Oh my God. Or comparing yourself to other artists. That's something I really struggle being new too. Is
don't compare.
Oh my God, it's bad.
Well, what happens is you lose a lot of time on self-focus. Like hearing your own voices, I think is really healthy. Like hearing your own internal monologue, like hearing yourself being able to speak your own truth is so important. And when you doom scroll, you're literally like sending your frontal lobe right into this ether sphere of just like being entertained. So we're getting like all the good feel vibes from this quick monetary good vibe. And we're not like, you come out of it, right? You kind of feel shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want to do it again because you feel good. Because now we've trained ourselves as we're drinking coffee. We've trained ourselves for that feel good, right? Mm-hmm. So we need that frontal lobe thought to be able to create. That's like where our juices come from. That's where we adapt and like learn and grow. And that's where we can like, understand forms that are like 3D and moving, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Some of it's really good though. Like I'll see somebody who paints something and I'm like, wow, that's really inspiring to me.
Yes.
But then sometimes I'll get a horrible negative video and it'll make me feel like shit. And then I'm like, I have to scroll to find something good to make myself feel better.
We talked about earlier, it's like everything that's happening right now is new. And we're still figuring out how it's good and bad. And we haven't figured out how to make it completely good for us yet. So like it is this like potentially toxic, potentially inspirational place that we go to. And I mean, that's life though as well. But I don't know. I would rather I schedule myself a time, right? And it's like 8 and 8. Those are my only times that I like post anything, really. If I made it like a little around that time, like, all right, it's 10, whatever, I'll just do it real quick. Or a lot of times I'm like, nah, no, not doing it. It's out of my 8 and 8. No.
I like that you have that self-control because I do not. And being new, I feel like I have to respond to this right now. Right. I have to post this. I have to engage or else I'm going to lose that person.
Well, I think that's where it came from. I just didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time Instagram came out and I was like,
I got on Instagram when I was like 10. I wasn't supposed to, but I got a phone so that they could like keep eyes on me and tabs on me.
I was a divorcee that had like lived all over the country at that point and was like, Yeah. Yeah. It was like such a, I think I remember my first photo I posted because I thought it was really pretty because art, we're talking about different kinds of art. I do love photography. So I first was trying to be like, like, oh, it's my photograph, my world, and it was like it was in Florida. It was a shop I worked at in Florida in downtown St. Pete, and it was the back alley. And the back alley was disgusting because we had our trash there, and there was just tattooed pigment on all the cobblestone bricks from bums and wildlife, whatever, going through our bags in the middle of the night. So like I was like, this is my art.
Oh my God, you took a photo of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that was my first Instagram photo.
That's so great. I like that though.
Thanks. Some cigarette butts were like littered around there. Yeah.
Dude, that's the most tattooer shit ever.
Yeah.
That really is.
It's so gross.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
What's it like being a tattoo artist in one photo? Pigment and cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah. So little blades of grass just like trying to peek through that cobblestone. Yeah, just a little bit of joy. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Just a teeny bit. Mostly self-destruction.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, and Instagram, I don't know. Instagram it attracts a lot of good things like potential clients, people who like are for your art that you're doing, but then it also attracts like stalkers.
Yeah. I think there is a difference though in like our generations with tattooers because I know that your generation, like a lot of them I've interviewed, don't like social media, and you guys can really disconnect yourselves from it. But because I grew up with a phone in my hand, and so did my peers, they can't.
Yeah,
and then it creates a sense of like we hate ourselves even more, like and more depression and just anxiety about like the tattooing and stuff, like just. Because we just doom scroll and we make ourselves feel, look, this person's been tattooing equally as long as me, or they just started and they're better, and why am I not like that? Like, look at that person's art. Like, it's just a lot of comparing.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, like, I talk to Ashley, she doesn't do that at all, like, anymore, if at all. And that's crazy to me because I do it on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of the difference. And honestly, I think it's like from maybe not even generational. Well, maybe it is. But like after you've been tattooing for a long time, you do get very comfortable. Excuse me. You do get very comfortable in your artwork and in your technique, in your tattooing practice, right? So once you get kind of comfortable, like I'm never too really comfortable, don't get me wrong. I will always think I suck, so I keep trying to make myself better. But there is like, I know I can come to work and be like, I know what I'm doing. It's okay. After that, you start thinking about all the other stuff. And then you really start like, oh shit, I don't need to be worried about all this because I need to be worrying about my retirement.
Oh my God, oh no.
Yeah, but all that stuff is like, why the hell did I worry about that? Fuck. I should have started this like 10 years, 20 years ago. So I start thinking about like, oh, I really need to like get like hand insurance, and I need to think about my,
Have you had back problems and hand problems?
No, not necessarily. I'm pretty healthy.
They don't fix my posture at Sacred Soul. They come over because I'm like a shrimp.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm so bad at like my back hurts.
Yeah, that's not good if your back hurts.
Oh, I know.
That's not good. Get in some yoga, strengthen that core.
I'm gonna get a massage soon too, which will be really
yoga has saved my neck was mine, but my neck was also bad from painting. Because I would be like this.
That's what I used to do though, is I would like during COVID, I graduated early. I graduated at 16 and that's when COVID happened for me. So I just drew. And so I would be like this all day, every day. And so now I have problems in my neck and my lower back and it's equated into tattooing.
Well, if you think about yoga and stuff like that, or just strengthening your core, because you have to strengthen these muscles, right? We think the back hurts, so we want to strengthen the back. But if we strengthen these muscles, it can hold you up a little bit more and it can like, you can counterbalance that, you know, so your pain might actually get a little bit better. You just got to get in there, get into that.
Stop being a couch potato.
Yeah, stop being a couch potato. I know it feels good. I do it too, but you know, I know staying in shape will prolong your career, hands down.
That's what everybody has told me. Yeah. I really need to do it.
Eat well. I mean, I was such a, oh my God, I can't even tell you the things I did still in my 20s.
I'm a pig and I eat like shit, but I'm vegetarian, but I don't think that matters because I still eat like shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the sugar.
Yeah.
It's the sugar.
Yeah. Oh, I eat so much sugar.
Think of yourself like a sponge, you know? Like, what can't you like wring out? Like oils and sugars and fats. It's like.
Do you eat at all during your tattoo? Because I don't.
I eat light. I'm a healthy snacker.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't eat the whole day and then I go home and I binge.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, it's been bad.
Terrible. Yeah. Well, I got so bad. I think after like 10 years of tat, and I think I had like a glucose meltdown.
No.
And they thought I was diabetic. They thought I was something. That was like a year's worth of tests. I remember that. It was really expensive, and I was like, never again. So I just got my health and shape like in check at that point. And that like after that, because before, I was like smoking a pack of cigarettes and drinking. This will never stop.
Oh, I drink so much coffee.
This will never stop.
Oh my God,
I get so depressed if I don't drink the coffee.
I've never not drank coffee.
The coffee is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are like, oh, switch to a matcha. I'm like, that's for sleepy time. Yeah. Drinking too will make you feel very depressed. And a lot of tatters like to go straight to the bar after they're done tatting. And that I would just go with my coworkers, you know, camaraderie. And I could never drink the whiskey. I could never really drink the hard stuff.
But I don't have that problem yet because I can't legally.
Don't do it. Oh, this is some secrets, right? Okay. Oh, we're doing shots. Oh my God, we're doing shots. Watch. Oh my God, we're doing shots. Oh my God, done for all of you. Yeah. I probably wasted. The floor was just shellacked with whiskey from my not taking shots. Yeah. But because I would watch them, they would come into work next day, hungover, grouchy.
Oh my God, that would suck.
Depressed. The bathroom smelled so bad. And I was like, you guys suck. So I was like the token girl. That was a thing. That was different back then. Oh, I watched, I think it was like Women of Hip Hop documentary.
Oh my God, that sounds great.
Oh my God.
That's my favorite genre of music is 80s and 90s hip hops exclusively.
Watch it. Okay, so I literally felt most connected to those women watching that documentary as a female tatter at that time, because we were the token ones. It didn't make sense to have multiple. Every shop had like one.
That's so weird.
Girl.
That's so
just one. That's all they could handle.
That sucks. That's sad. That's really sad.
But then we were like, I don't know. I made good money, and then there were no other girls around.
Do you think it's gotten better?
Yeah. Oh my God, I like had an emotional moment at the literary convention in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was the most diverse, like women, queer, anything that I've ever seen ever at a tattoo convention. And I was just like filming it, and all of a sudden I was like, what's that? Wait. And then it like clicked. And I was like, oh my God, this has never happened. And there were a lot of girls that didn't know why I was reacting like that. And I was like, oh, that sucks. They're so young, they don't know.
That's like how I told you earlier. I know people who didn't even know it was illegal in the industry. And
yeah, it's like, oh. But then the promoter saw, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I was one of the only girls to go with the Villain Arts tours for about 10 years. And she was like, holy shit, scary.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like, I don't know, it was different back then. Trauma, you couldn't like let it settle and think about it.
Yeah.
It was more like, oh, I know how to react now. Mm-hmm. Cool. And I'm like, oh, I think I reacted really like, woohoo, but no, I was like reacting to my gut instinct, like fight or flight kicked in. Mm-hmm. There was no fawning. Mm-hmm. You know, fawning didn't exist back then for us. But, yeah, that means you're dead. You're just dead. Who is that? I don't know. She's fawning over there. She's left. We left her. Yeah, there was no one to take care of you, so you had to act. And sometimes we acted like, now what would be considered traumatic, we would react in a joke.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I do. Yeah. I joke a lot. I don't talk about my kids. I push it down and then I make funny jokes.
We make funny jokes. Because that's how you keep in this industry.
Yep.
And now it's different. Now people have a little bit more of a voice.
You know, I really liked it because I was homeschooled for a really long time. My parents were big hippie dippies, so they were like no government schooling, so I was homeschooled for a really long time. I didn't go into school until middle school, 6th grade, and I don't know why, but my little brain thought it was going to be like High School Musical, and it was going to be like
everyone saw it like,
it's going to be great and everybody's going to love me. I was the weird emo alternative kid that they all bullied and made fun of, and then coming in here, it's like everybody's fucking weird, and I like dead shit and they like dead shit, and I like horror movies and they like horror movie, and it's like I've actually found a community, and I did not have that growing up. I'm not a weirdo anymore. See, in this industry.
That's like a new thing. Like I remember when that changed, and it was my generation that came in. I literally heard like the elders talk about like, oh, you fucking art kids coming in and changing everything. They were angry. They were so angry. Because then we like brought something different to the table, you know, and we were compassionate. We did have like feelings, and we knew how to articulate when something was wrong, and they had never heard that. That was like not a thing. Because I mean, and I remember even like, I don't know, like adapting those thoughts to some of the wizards that we still have today. That's why we hear about them. That's why they're still around, because they learned empathy from us, and they learned like real artistic value from us. Mm-hmm. So I think like, I don't know, that part I will say, I don't know. I mean, social media had a lot to do with it, but I think as soon as people realized in my generation that they would graduate from art college and have a really hard time making money, like, usually you graduate from art college, like what, marketing, graphic design, you know, fashion. There's all these jobs before, you know, 9/11 happened. And then when that happened, no, there wasn't, you know, so a lot of us like joined the tattoo industry because it was the one way we could make money and still like keep within the arts. And it wasn't considered fine art back then. It was often like, actually ruined my art career for a bit that I was tattooing. Because gallery owners would like their nose at me, you know, where they wouldn't before. Did you have
problems with like, since you went to art school, the old heads were like, ugh, art school? Because that's what I heard a lot was like, don't go to art school.
Oh,
like, just go straight into the industry.
Well, yeah. I mean, it put me in this weird limbo between both. Like artists thought I was cheapening myself, and then tattooers thought I was like above it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm still going to do it. So I found some tatters that would just joke about it with me instead of like actually denying me, and I could deal with that. That was fine. Yeah. But I think going to art school first was, you learn a lot of fundamentals.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of really important things of how to like compose something that looks nice in a 2D or whatever like form. Right. And it gives you enough time also after high school to where you can become a little bit more of an adult and in your own shoes a little bit too. You learn how to like deal socially with people. You know, you learn how to like make friends. You have a backbone. You had to go to a strange place and do it and make it. So I think like that or military and then going into tattooing, I think is a great idea. You know, I don't think it's anything really that bad. I mean, I think a lot of tattooers, like maybe their egos got a little crushed because here's some kid that knows a lot more than they do.
But the rise of the internet, you know, I feel like you can just learn so much. Like I just taught myself most of the shit that I learned from the internet. I just watch YouTube videos of how to draw portraits, how to do the form, da-da-da-da-da. Here are the right pencils to use, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, trust me, formal university, I could say a lot of things about that. I thought about
doing that before tattooing. My dad was the one who put tattooing into my head because he was like, you're fucking weirdo, so you should try
this. It's expensive.
And it's also, like, the tattooing industry, you can be who you are and not get judged and everything. I was thinking about either doing art restoration or being like an art professor.
That's fun.
But like art restoration, what I was looking into, I had to go like to Europe and shit. And then here it's going to be so much money and I'm fucking poor. Like, you expect me
I want to be a biology illustrator. I feel ya.
Biology illustrator?
Yeah. And I had to go to Boston and be part of some guild and someone had to die just be able to get into the guild. And then I was like, fudge. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, tattooing. Woo! Yeah. I dropped out of college technically, just so I did.
You know what's crazy? Every single person I've interviewed has gone to fucking art school.
Yeah,
and they've ended up either dropping out or they finished it and then they immediately went into tattooing because they were like, "What am I gonna do?" Especially with the rise of like ones who are newer. I've talked to a lot of people who got into the tattoo industry after COVID. Like a lot of them got in.
A lot of people pivoted. Yeah, it was a whole pivot society, like a movement of pivoting.
They were at home and they were festering and they were angry, and so they were like, I want to do something I like, and so they went into tattooing. Especially like graphic designers are having a harder time with AI and everything happening. It's just gotten extremely worse.
It's gonna get weird here. Well, I mean, people will start identifying that this industry, like the cultiness of it, is kind of going away. It's lifting.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's a free market. Like, if you can learn it, if you can do it well, if you can prove yourself to be a niche and your marketing and everything, you can be a successful tattooer, but you just have to have that drive into it. And so a lot of people saw that and, like, hated their normal, like, cubicle life. I mean, I've converted many, many people to just, like, living a little bit more freely and doing what you want and getting out of the cubicle. I think the cubicle is here to kill us. I had a cubicle life for a little bit.
I never worked in like an office, but I worked in the restaurant industry, and all of my managers, that was their whole life, and they were like my parents' age, and I was like, this is horrible. I don't want to be this way. Like, I have to not do this.
I worked for the paper for 2.5 years, so in St. Petersburg Times, and I was in a cubicle. I collected little like comics and everything, the little Kathy comics. I thought she was so funny. And I was in a little cubicle that I shared with like another woman named Janet, and I love Janet. And that was like my first, like, after high school, because I had to wait. Like, 9/11 did happen when I was in my junior year, and then that was weird. It was weird. I'm just gonna say it like that. Did
you start tattooing in Oklahoma?
No.
Where did you start tattooing?
Florida.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I'm a Florida girl.
Wow. So when did you come to Oklahoma? Like, what year?
2000. I started guest spotting here around 2014.
Okay.
And then 2014, and then moved here.
Girl, why'd you come here?
Oh,
out of everywhere.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Florida was a little saturated. I mean, I had like a good clientele, but I mean, not enough. I just wanted something different, not so violent.
Yeah.
Florida is a great place to go and be a tourist, but there are certain parts of it that have been there for a really long time. There's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of, like, no matter what, like, I was at one of the best shops in, like, Ybor. Used to be like, that's where you had to go work at a good shop. But that meant also I had to be there till 2 a.m. and then walk to my car and then through crazy traffic. And that was also like the party strip. So it was like normal.
That's so scary.
I mean, looking at it now, probably traumatizing. But back then, it was just kind of like part of it. You kind of make a joke out of it, And like, I would count like how many bloody people I would see, like going and getting a soda. Because there would be like fights in the club, and then they kicked out of the club, and they're like, these drunk dudes that are covered in blood. We're like, I saw 5, and come back and we're like, not touch them, like weave through the crowd, And I mean, I miss those days so much because the camaraderie between tatters was so cool because we all knew how dangerous it was. So we would all like walk out together, like the girls flat out, not non-sexism, because of our size, we're not allowed to take out the trash, the garbage, you know. And there was a lot of girls that at least worked at that shop, you know.
At least they did that for you.
No, how many were there? There's 3 of us out of 3 shops, like 20, 30 people.
Wow.
There's 3 girls. Yeah. So that was a lot. But yeah, I don't know. There was like, we would all like get like after shift like drinks at the goth club, and like we were very like together, you know, we were like a little wolf pack, you know. So I do miss those days a little bit, but it was dangerous and we all survived, you know, reasonably well. But I left. Yeah. It was like 1 week that I got.
What was the first shop you guest spotted here?
Oh, Atomic Lotus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've actually never ever been in there.
Well, that's where I guest spot a lot, because my friend Amanda Peterson, who works with Villain Arts a lot, she was their counter girl there. And so I like ran with the Villain Arts tattoo conventions for like a decade and more. And so she was like, please come and guest spot. You can stay with me and stuff like that. And I just kept coming back because I really did fall. I know this sounds cheesy, but I did fall in love with Oklahoma's clients. You know, like my clients were so cool.
Oh, I love my clients.
Yeah. Like the people here are cool.
They're nice.
Yeah, like Floridians are kind of assholes.
You know, I've tattooed a lot of people from Florida.
Yeah.
I'm here for like school.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they're being a jerk, it's just they love you. It's just how they show their love.
They're like girls who are like, oh, I'm so glad to be out of Florida. And
good. Yeah, see, then it's like, I don't know. There was a lot of rudeness, and there was a lot of like, oh, if I don't like your price, I'll just go down the street a little bit and like get a cheaper price, you know? So as a young female that was trying to make money alone, like I was divorced at this point, I think. You know, I did it what everyone did back then. I married a military man, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I moved here and I started working at Frontier City before I was looking for an apprenticeship because I was underage.
Oh, okay.
I moved here when I just turned 17.
Oh, okay.
And like there were like 19-year-old, freshly 18-year-old girls, military men were getting married.
Yeah.
Like, what?
That's what we all did.
And then a lot of my clients are like around my age. I'm almost 20 and they're getting married and I feel kind of weird.
When your boys are leaving to go die, it's like this emotional thing that happens. Like I lost 25 guy friends in the first couple of years of going to, you know.
Oh my God.
So it was like an emotional thing. Like, oh God, you're in the military. We need to figure this out as a family now. And so the only thing you could do legally was to get married, you know, and then each other were protected. You know, we had enough money to get housing. We had enough money for health insurance. We had enough money. If it was just both of us having normal jobs, we would never be able to do that. You know, we would be off of our mommy and daddy's bank if we could, or doing like harder jobs and working harder and harder and harder. So, I mean, I think we're lucky to be in the kind of economy where we can just do that independently, you know, because back then it wasn't like that at all. So yeah, we just both like, at this point, I was like, that had dissolved, you know, because the stress of that war in the early phases was insane. But I don't know, coming to Oklahoma was like, so like everyone was like, howdy, or like, hello, ma'am, and like holding doors for me. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
The Southern hospitality.
What's happening? No, Southern hospitality is the opposite. This is Midwest hospitality. This is like different. Like they'll like.
Oh, I think this is Southern here.
Really?
Because I'm from Colorado, and everybody in Colorado is like, you live in Oklahoma. That's this like they're like.
That's so weird.
Oklahoma is like
That's
Alabama
so weird.
and Colorado. And Colorado thinks they're the Midwest, and then Oklahoma people think they're the Midwest. Because people get offended here that I'm like, oh, it's the South. And that's just how I was.
It's so not. I don't know. So I know that is a dispute. I remember that there was like I just call like the Southwest, South Midwest. Because then what's Texas? Texas isn't like.
That's true.
Yeah, what's Texas?
I always think that Oklahoma is like their little brother to Texas.
I think we're like we're like the top hat of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas needs us to be polite. Ma'am. Yeah. But it is different. It's so different. And it took me probably like 2 years to like navigate the Oklahoma because I mean, Florida, where I grew up, had a lot of New Yorkers come down. So we have like that roughness. We have
gentrification.
Or that. We have that too. It actually took St. Pete a while to gentrify. Yeah. It got too expensive. And
I feel like that's starting to happen here. Because my parents came here, like the Plaza District. My mom 100%. Used to take my older sister dancing there, and it was like really not nice.
Really not nice.
Scared. And then I started working there as a server, and she was like, what the fuck? You can walk around and go into shops, and there's art galleries.
When I first moved here on 23rd, literally the only thing that was there was Tucker's.
Oh my God.
That was it. And like a tumbleweed every now and again. But I saw groups of hipsters and I was like, I can smell the gentrification that's happening. So even opening this business up, my whole family thought I was crazy. And I was like, no, it's going to be fine. Yeah. Like cool shit is happening to Oklahoma a lot.
There's a lot of people moving here too from other places. Young people, they're starting families and they just like, it's cheap here. And they're from places like Colorado where it was expensive. Yes, for now.
For now, yeah. Well, I did. I smelled a lot of hope in Oklahoma, even for what it was. Like it's shown durability. I'm real like I'm weird like that. That's where my like machism comes in, is with the economic stuff. So like you can see timelines of things changing because I've seen it happen in my hometown, in Philly, Portland, and Austin, all these places. And everyone wants to go to the cool place, right? But that's like, it's already cool. Why do you want to invest in the cool place? Because it's not going to be the cool place anymore. It's going to be the place that's overrun. It's too much traffic, too expensive, too blah, 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 you know? So I was like, well, I'm going to go to Oklahoma because obviously that's next. Yeah. And I get to ride into it, you know? And that's, if Oklahoma gets too busy, I'm out of here. If it gets too cool, nah.
I think it's already starting. I mean, with marijuana getting legalized.
Yeah.
Really. There's so many businesses because that's what my dad was in his business for. That's why we moved here. And it was like there's so much, and now a lot of them are closing because they couldn't make it. Because they thought, oh, I'm going to get into this industry, and it was so oversaturated.
And it's the same idea of people going to a city. It gets too crazy, too loud, and then it dies down. I mean, look at Detroit.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
Yeah. So this is a little tiny example, but I'm glad that I like at least have set up shop.
Did you have problems when you were first trying to open this like 5 years ago with how modern and private? And it's like, this is like something I would see in Colorado, like I told you earlier. This is it's not Oklahoma.
Yeah, to me, this was normal. Like this whole shop is normal to me. But yeah, people are like, what in the fudge are you doing? You know? And I remember I had this one person that was just very grumpy, and we're friends, and we finally like concluded, one, you should never work for a girl ever again. Because I triggered him. I would have to literally take my hair out of a bun to talk to him because I would have like a tall bun. I used to have really long hair. But it like triggered him.
That's weird.
Yeah. But one thing he said to me in this fight that was like, not even like, what's happening? He was like, we have chandeliers where you don't have a real thermofax, because we had like the thermofaxes. And I'm like, I'm trying to find one. I've been only open for like less than a year. I'm trying to find this antique dinosaur that works good. And they're all broken.
They're all fucking expensive.
They're all broken. Yeah. So, and I just remembered that like, well, yeah, the chandeliers were like $5. I found them at a thing and I was closing down. But he just hated the niceties. Yeah. He just hated like the extravagance. And I didn't see that. I just saw it as like a big open building with art.
But it's not extravagant because it makes people feel comfortable.
Right.
It's like your clients are like, oh, I'm in an artist shop.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like the ambience does add a lot to the quality of the experience for me. And for me, I do want to represent I want to represent young artists that come through the door. I want to be we have a lot of first time artists they've never been in galleries before. And so we get to sell their paintings for the first time. You know, there's a lot to that. Like, but this place wouldn't get that kind of exposure if it looked just like a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
You know, people come here for art shows because it looks like a place that should have excellent art shows.
When did you start doing the first art shows?
It was a while.
Was it hard to get it started? Because you were saying that you had like people confused about it.
Well, at first we had draw nights, and that I was always doing. I used to do draw nights at Vassar Hall, and I would invite people around. And at that point, I did have a good core group of dudes that would come with me, so it wasn't so like weird inviting other strangers to come in. But here, yeah, it was very confusing at first to get people to come to draw nights and know what that was. We had like, they would show up like, where's the wine? Where's the, you know? I'm like, no, it's not a wine palette, you know. But for the art shows, it was hard. I had the list of people that wanted to be involved. And I had all the things, like there's marketing, there's, we have a lot of sponsorships that will like donate our drinks or food or flower, or like decorations, stuff like that. So it was hard, like navigating and keeping correspondence with all those people. And that's what I had to hire a manager for.
Yeah.
So I think it took, like, honestly, a while to have an actual art show, to have people help me put it on. Probably 3 years in, like, easy.
I mean, it's a lot of work.
To build the wall. Well, first I just concentrated on the tattoo side, 100%. That's where all my energy went into. And I probably boothed in every single booth in here to make sure it was right. You know, like I lived in each booth to be like, okay, all right, I got this, like, and then would work on it and then move on and then work on it and say like, hey, I have a booth for sale, because it would be done. And then I started working on like the gallery and stuff like that. So that was all like afterthought, you know, but I knew it was going to happen. Like the whole place was planned out. And Austin actually was the funniest about all of that. Because I had, everything was all planned out from the beginning, but it all took so long because I built a lot of it myself too. Like a lot of it, too much of it, I think. Like as I'm
Labor
broken.
of love.
Yeah, I'm broken. But I know how to use power cells. So I had the chandeliers where they needed to be, and they looked awkward for a long time, but no one said anything because they were being nice. So when I did the second installment of walls, Austin just like, oh my God, you had planned this out the whole time. Because then the chandeliers then made sense.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny because I'm like, well, yeah, I guess that's willy-nilly in this, you know, but it takes time, especially when you're doing it yourself on a budget. Like COVID killed our build out budget, basically.
I think COVID killed everything.
It did.
Oh my God.
It did.
That was like the worst time period.
I think I had like several nervous breakdowns during COVID. Dude, oh my God. So many people were arguing about the masks. I didn't give a shit about any of that.
As long as you got to work?
It's just as long as I could work. It's just as long as I was running in masks just to make my lungs stronger during the winter. You know, like I don't give a shit. But like, I just wanted to work, and I just wanted like prices to not be so expensive. And I just wanted people to not have nervous breakdowns and come to me, their HR, to tell me about their nervous breakdowns. Like, I was like, everyone go to therapy, please. Like that was my COVID statement.
Do you ever have to create like boundaries with people, especially at your work, because they'll come to you with personal shit that doesn't even have to do with like the...
I will say that I don't mind on a friendship level. I do not mind hearing about other people's shit. But as soon as people start blaming me for their shit, that's a common thing. There's not that many emotionally intelligent people in the world. And that is one of the things that surprised me the most about like just doing what I'm doing. Because I've never proclaimed myself to be anything more than, hi, okay, you want this room? Cool. All right, great. This is what we promote here at the shop. This is what we do. I'm here to make sure you're doing everything right. Make sure you're good. Ask me for help. And so besides that, I'm always very surprised when people are like, I don't know, just not willing to take responsibility
for their actions.
And I've had to, like, I am in the back burner. Clients talk to me first. Complaints come to me first. And so, of course, I have to talk about it with people. And that's been the... I didn't think I was emotionally ready. That was my emotional intelligence that wasn't ready.
Did you have issues with a confrontation with people?
Yes. Yeah. Very hostile confrontation.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'm just like, I just wanted to talk to you. And I'm in tatters, you know, like, who knows what you're going to get? You know, we're all walks of life in this field.
Yeah. I think everybody's in their own little life too. They don't even like, I talk to so many people, clients too, and I've realized, like, I have my own anxieties about stuff, and I'll go home and I'll be like, man, like, I shouldn't have said that. That was stupid, or da-da-da-da-da. Like, I overthink things really hard, and it's not even anything that fucking mattered. It's not, you know? Nobody thinks about that, though, but then everybody thinks that about themselves, too. I have clients that are like, man, I was so awkward last time I saw you. I'm so sorry. And I do the same thing.
Well, that even saying it, though, out loud actually brings you closer to that person. And yeah, I mean, I always try to take in, like, I don't know, I don't talk a whole lot about my problems, and that's why I'm so private online, is because I assume everyone is going through the worst day of their life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically...
My whole thing is you just be nice to them because you don't know what the fuck's going on. Because I've had horrible days, and nobody's known.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Because, I mean, there's make a joke out of it. You know, there's that power of, like, keeping your shit together. When I walk through the building, I have my role that I have to play for that amount of time that I'm in the building, you know, because it helps uplift other people, and it helps, like, make other people feel secure and know that their job is, like, this nice place, you know. But I mean, my coworkers are also amazing, and they'll always check in every now and again too, like, are you okay? Or we'll go out and then we'll talk, and then, you know, we'll, like, open up, you know. Like, even our newest people right now are booking a brunch with me, which has never happened. It's so cute. But they're booking a brunch with me so they can just, like, here's, like, I don't know, figure out about how I've traveled for the last 10 years tattooing. Like, they want to know, they want to pick my brain.
Yeah.
So they're like, they know my boundary is, like, if you want to do that, like, bring it outside of work so I can just relax, and I'm not your boss. I'm just a person talking to you, you know, and that seems to work really well, you know. But I knew COVID was really, really hard on people. I had a couple apprentices that tried to apprentice during it, and I mean, their life
during COVID.
Yeah, like, well, they were apprenticing, and then COVID happened.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, it gives you plenty of time to draw.
That is the truest thing.
Yeah,
dude, drawing is like it to get into the industry.
Yeah, you have to.
I feel like people don't understand that. I'll have people ask me, well, how did you get an apprenticeship? I'm like, I drew. And they're like, I always want to be a tattooist. I'm like, well, then do
it. That's it. Yeah. You just have to do
get
it.
Tattooed too. I didn't do that. I just went shop to shop.
No, you learn. Well, I mean, that's the dangerous thing. And I do actually, I've told many people, don't go knocking on doors, because I am very cautious, because I know, like, I don't know how to put this. From my history, I have met plenty of tattooers that were tattooing as long as I have been. Like, I've been doing 17 years now, right? 18, coming on 18. Oh my God, 18, really close. They started tattooing because before they were selling drugs and killing people for a living.
Oh my God.
And then tattooing was their out, and it saved their lives. But old mentalities are, like, really hard to shake off. So just because there's other mentalities that come with that, even though they're not doing those two things, other things related are like that. So I could imagine, like, you going up, like, hi, you know.
Freshly turned 18, grabbed my portfolio, door to door, all of the shop. I did it for like weeks. And I annoyed people too. I would go back.
That's fine.
I didn't have anybody mean to me, actually.
That's good.
Everybody was really nice, and most of them, like, though I try to be very respectful, so most of them would be like, hey, I don't do this, but you could check out this. It was like a wild goose chase, pretty much.
And that's, like, that's what those art kids, those are the ones, and, like, they're like, that's okay. Those ones are all right.
But now I tell people, I'm like, go get tattooed and find an artist you like. Because you don't really know the person.
You have to know them.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, my apprentice seminar, I talk a lot about that. Like, you have to get to know the person you're asking to mentor you.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge responsibility even for that person to mentor you. There are those that would like to, like, just make apprentices, right? Because they're making money off of it, free labor, whatever. But then there's people who are like, oh no, if you work for me and this is my cost amount for your materials, your tools, like, you will learn, you know. And I don't think people think about that. Like, they're asking that person will you please teach me?
Yeah.
Well, we're not tenured professors. We don't get paid for teaching.
Yeah.
It's like off of our own schedule, our own thing. We have to deal with the health department. We have to communicate.
I didn't know anything about syllabus that when I was going like shop to shop.
Yeah.
I didn't know about any of that. I didn't know about any of the health department shit, the hours or how any of it worked. I just wanted an apprenticeship.
I've denied someone before because they didn't even know that I could apprentice them legally.
Really?
Yeah, they were asking everyone else, and I was just sitting there, and they were asking all the people that couldn't apprentice them legally, and I was like, well, I think
that's the only rule I knew.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think they did their research, so I guess they're not really there. I'll get whatever. And it is like you, as a tattooer, one, drawing, knowing your shit proves to your maybe mentor that you're like a fully functioning independent contractor, because that's what we are.
I mean, you got to like show them you can put effort in, because you have to keep putting that effort into the job.
And not into us. Yeah. Like I had a lot of apprentices just try to like, I don't know, soothe me or try to suck up to me. And I kept like, no, you're here to work for you. And I'm teaching you. And I think that's like the difference between like you're in school, you're with your parents.
Yeah.
And then so that's like an age gap thing that I worry about sometimes. It's like, I don't know. It's just like a really strange like time for artists to be like, it's just different, like you're not given an assignment every day at a normal job. It's like you have to fish out these ideas out of clients. You have to like somehow figure it out, translate it, draw efficiently, do the tattoo, then figure out your taxes, then figure out like, am I staying licensed?
Am I saving so much I didn't realize I needed to do until I started tattooing.
I should give you my packet. I'll give you my packet.
The photos, taking photos of the fucking tattoos have been horrible. I will do a tattoo that I'm okay with, and then I'll take a photo, and then I'll be like, well, fuck me.
Yeah, oh my gosh, my phone is full of unused tattoos. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. And then in Wes's shop, I buy all my own materials, which has been a new thing for me. So then I'll buy something that's like $40 and I'll hate it. And then I'm like, well, God damn it. Now I have to use this until it's up and I don't like it. And it's not, and then I have to try something else. Luckily, most of the people at my shop are like a family. So like, please borrow my stuff before you buy new stuff. So I'll borrow like.
So you use it. Yes, I was going to suggest that to you for machines. Like use a machine before you buy it and invest in it just to make sure you actually like it, because it's not just about the machine. It's about the machine with your hand. Like you are the tool with that tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can buy the most expensive machine that's sponsored by so-and-so and so-and-so, but they might move differently. They might be shaped differently than you are. So that machine works differently for them than it would you. So always like practice with materials. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. That like she's instilling a lot of responsibility in that, making sure that you get your own stuff. Here we're eco-friendly. So I do supply all the medical stuff. And then I know if we have guest artists or something that like no one's without gloves or paper towels but they are all also like I've controlled it so we can stay within the eco-friendly, because our waste is delegated ever so.
I think at some point, whenever I'm like more into tattooing, I want to go eco-friendly, but it's more expensive. And right now,
it's not.
It isn't. No. Tell me about it.
Well, I'm having my eco-friendly seminar on the 10th. On Sunday at noon to 2. So eco-friendly business practices, I started really getting into it during COVID. I wanted to do it. I had the interest. I had the longing to try to help the planet as much as I could. And tattooers produce a lot of waste.
Well, we live on it, so we might as well take good care of it.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I had already been tattooing for over 15 years and just like creating these, I call them the human diapers, of just like plastic and paper towel and plastic on plastic on plastic on plastic. So I really started thinking about, and I'm on all these forums too. Like I hear tatters talk about, just ramble on things like, I don't know if this is an actual argument about whether you put the dental bib face down so it sticks to your tray or face up. I know. Face up so it soaks, the liquid catches. But our dental bibs suck. Have they ever broken on you into little fibrous little whatevers? Like have they kind of just move around on you? Do they? So I just replaced those things that were more eco-efficient, like biodegradable materials. And I just like situate things differently. It's more organization, materials used, and using them differently to better, like Like, we don't have to use a dental bib. It is a medical bib. That doesn't mean that tattooers have to use it. It's just stuff that we've been doing, like the cultist system. You know, the cult's been doing it forever, but that doesn't mean that we have to. So I've completely redeveloped all that.
I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's taken a long time. And we recycle a lot of things in-house as well. So since we have the art studio, we have paint nights sporadically. We're having them every other Saturday, but sometimes we'll just have one on a Monday.
What do you guys do with your paint nights? Do you guys have like a specific prompt, or are you guys just like, come in and paint?
Oh yeah, just come. Oh,
I love that.
Yeah, just come. If you don't, like last week we had someone that just like showed up and they're like, "Where's your stuff?" And they're like, "I don't know. I just got out of the house. I had to get out of there." So I was like, "You want to paint black metal nutcrackers for our tree?" You know? And he was like, "Yes." So, and I have what I do is I will get a bunch of boards, like really good like painting boards, and I'll just make small ones and I'll gesso all of them so people can come in and just like grab something if they want. But so far it is just tatters and like apprentices and people within the industry so far.
I love that though, because you're building a community.
I'm hoping,
you're making me want to like come to all of these things, and I'm the most reclusive human being ever.
Well, we are too. I don't either. So this is actually my social time.
I'm loving it though.
Yeah, we had like 3 shops, like 3 different shops in here last time.
That's great.
With people. Yeah. I mean, and I'm very much used to like the Ybor place I told you about. I am used to all of us hanging out and there being no beef when not needed.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it's great too. What I've really learned from like getting tattooed, I didn't come into the industry with any tattoos. I like waited to get a specific tattoo. So I was apprenticing with no tattoos at the start. Yeah. And I waited and then Matt gave me a tattoo. And then from there, I've just gotten tatted. But everybody does something differently, and I feel like I get inspired and learn by every single person who tattoos me.
Yes,
like
you do.
It's great, or just seeing their artwork, or just even the little things that they do. It's
absorbing their knowledge through like you're trading something. Like other people can collect and get artwork, but we do it so we can watch their process. You know, that's our time to really learn from one another, is like getting tattooed or doing art next to each other.
Yeah.
I call it playing in the sandbox. You know, there's like this thing that we do as children that I don't think we ever think about until we can find a way to do it again as adults. But playing on the sandbox with other kids is, I think, some of the most core fundamental like socialization project. Because you're like, hey, I like your castle, dog. Can I help you build that? Yeah. I mean, imagine little kids saying this, you know? Yeah. And they're like, I guess. I mean, I got these tools. Yeah. I don't know. They work pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you got? You know, and they're like, well, I got this tool. And you're like, oh, maybe we can make a really cool castle together.
Yeah.
And then we can show like the big people how cool we are, you know, but we know we did that together.
Yeah. I like that you're doing the art nights though, because I've had problems with like, I have friends who are also apprentices and we're trying to meet up, but our schedules are so different. We all have different things going on, but this instills that like, hey, come, there will be so many people.
Yeah, we're already doing it and come. And this is a great crowd too that we've got going on. It can be weird. Like I won't do it by myself. I refuse, you know, because I used to be very like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to do it myself. It'd be fine. No, it wasn't. Like probably the scariest tatter in town came and that was it. And I like that night in particularly. And everyone I tell like that knows this person was like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, never again. So the team that we have now is really rad and I'm really glad that we do it. And they were very supportive of me. Like they let everyone know basically like this is her house, respect the rules.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Honestly, it's been a great team. But yeah, like, I don't know. Art nights for me, I also do a digital art night on reinventing the tattoo. It's like a Guy Aitchison online forum. And he's like, basically, I don't know, I think of Guy as like Oz and we're all the munchkins of his Oz kingdom. And we're all here to help like represent like this theory that we can teach art to one another and we can do it together and we can like build our repertoire together and to be open. And so I've taught a lot because of that, like because I am one of like the teachers on that forum. It's gotten like, I've gone to the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, got to teach there. I've got to teach at Hell City. I've gotten to teach.
You got to teach at Hell City?
Yeah, it was like, I was pretty nervous.
Dude, that is like the #1 tattoo convention I want to go to.
Oh, you should come.
Existence.
It was on the second level, you know, and it was honestly, it wasn't what I expected. But then I realized, Derby puts it on, was like, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, you know, and it's true. Sometimes I've taught in front of 50 people, and sometimes I'll like 1 or 2. And the same, I give it all every time.
Yeah.
Hell City is a great place though to learn, just because there is so much going on that even if you're not working the show, like if you're not tattooing necessarily or painting in the wet paint,
like an invite only. That's what I've heard.
Apply.
Apply.
Everyone apply. Even if it says invite only, what that means is you have to apply. And if they can fit you in, they think you're like at the level that they want to represent the show, then they'll invite you. So apply. Apply.
Have you been to any shows outside of the United States or anything? Like any European shows or anything? I
almost went to a show in Plymouth, New Zealand, but customs got a hold of me in LA, and I was sequestered there for about 12 hours.
Oh.
So they were like, what are you doing? I was like, going to a convention. And they're like, yeah, what are you going to do there? I'm like, convention. And that was not convention. That's not what you say. That's not what you said. So I didn't do that. But I've tattooed out like in Newfoundland, Canada, and New Zealand.
How was that experience like outside of being in the United States, being in like, I don't know their culture at all with tattooing.
Cool. Like, cool.
How different is it? Do they do like, what is their stylization?
Tamoko is New Zealand, like traditional Maori tattooing. And it's the Tabori is the right? Yeah. And then Tamoko is the taka.
So I didn't know that.
Traditionally what it is albatross bone that they frill like shards, like a thin comb almost. And then they take a tap and they take like ash and soot and things like that to get real good black. And they're creating almost like a scar, like a scarification. And so they'll do that. And that's how they get this really cool design. However, they'll do that and then let it heal. And sometimes they'll go back in again and do it again.
So painful.
Oh, people have gone blind before for like a month because of the pressure and things like that. But I got to work with someone that did it not traditionally, but with a electric machine, you know, like a coil machine.
Yep.
But the same design patterns and things like that. So it was really cool. I got to New Zealand was like a whole crazy experience because I got to like understand the Mongol Ma influence with the tattoo industry there as well. But I got to tattoo a Maori. And so I got to experience like the prayer that they do beforehand and their rituals. Do you know? Okay, so if you see a Maori, like when you hug each other or like say hello, like they put their foreheads together and breathe in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, so they do like if you see it. So what's happening there is like they do that with everyone they love, like their kin, right? So when that Maori dies, everyone goes up to them and releases and blows out. And so they're like releases like what you've given them over the years. So then like returns your spirit to you. It's very cool. Very cool. So tattooing out there, I tattooed also with a Kiwi at left hand path tattoos. Andy Schwarbeck. I hope that's his name. Schwarbeck? Andy? It's very nice. Very awesome. Very talented. And he's down in Christchurch. So it was different, like tattooing with a Maori and then tattooing with a Kiwi. Because it was a little bit more like home with the Kiwi, and with the Maori, it was like, I was like, my P's and Q's were on spot. I was learning, I was adapting, and it was incredible, to be honest. It was like it was still a very spiritual experience for me. Yeah. Yeah. Very different.
Has going to all these places and meeting with so many artists over the years affected your style, like what you started doing to now? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I even went there because I see New Zealand as really the mecca for me in tattoos. They've really figured out body proportions and large scale like setup and design. Like they use a lot of negative space.
they really have like a flow to their work that I really use in my own work now. Mm-hmm. So every time I travel somewhere, I'm trying to adapt something from their culture that I really like, try to figure it out 100%. And we're like, I like it because of this. And I figured it out. Yeah. But yeah, I apply all of those things to how I draw, all of them. And yeah, and there was a trade, you know, like there's always these things that you trade with people to travel. And when you do that, you get to like have these other experiences. So yeah, really, I've just like enriched every time I travel, because I also like babysit their kids and like help with cooking and cleaning and like try to like immerse myself like in their life, you know. They're really interested in our Western cleaning, you know, because it is different. Like materials are different country to country, and they're such a small island that like it's hard to get things there. So like to clean a tattoo, to take care of a tattoo, like you have Papa oil and Dettol, you know, where here we have all kinds of nappy rash cream, you know, I'm like, what the fuck is nappies? Like their nipples. Yeah. Or butt cream, you know, nappy rash, diapers. So yeah, it's just a little different knowing like how the world works makes, I don't know, me think different about every day, you know, like when I get shipments in, I'm like, you know, people are so used to it, but I'm like, this had to come so far to get here, you know? And I really think
more grateful for it.
Yes. You know, and it is like traveling to small places or third world or anything where it's hard to get things will makes you like come home and appreciate everything, you know? So yeah, like I'm always, I don't know, it keeps me humble, I guess. But also I just like learning all that experience and bringing it back and be like, I know I learned some stuff, you know. I mean, I always say just keep traveling, you know. It'll get weird sometimes, it'll get really weird, but just keep doing it.
Dude, that's the most inspiring thing ever. Like what you're doing is what I want to do one day. Like I just, oh my God, that's so cool that you got to do that.
Yeah, be safe. Yeah, you know, just be safe, have a schedule, you know, keep to it. You know, have your plan B's and C's, and you'll be fine.
What's your favorite place that you've been to thus far?
Probably. That's a hard one.
Is there a top 5?
New Zealand is definitely one of my. It's in there. It's gorgeous. You know, I'm a naturalist, so it's just I can go all day. I like stayed out on an island for a week and a half just because I could. You know,
that sounds just beautiful.
It was just joy. It was joy creating. I really love every place I go to. A lot of times, you know, I don't really, in America, it seems I am a little head down, you know, so I don't get to experience too much. Sometimes I'll go to the airport and the tattoo convention and then get like, maybe I'll find a cool bistro. So I could say that I don't think I have favorite places. I think I have like states or cities. I think I have like favorite, like just things about things. Like there's this restaurant in Philly that's like a speakeasy and I just love that place. So like every time we're there, like I know that place will probably still be there as we go. And same thing, if I go back to New Zealand, there's this spot I got to go back to, you know. And I used to love San Francisco before like the tech and San Fran. Was my place, you know. Best vibes in the world, you know. You can do whatever you want. It was great. Everyone was art. Everyone loved art, food. People were like sensory junkies. They're like, oh, music, dance, you know. It was just great. I would follow my nose in San Francisco. Like you just follow your nose and you'd find like a most amazing spot, like in an alleyway, you know. So places do change, you know. But I like Oklahoma. I have my little like key favorite places here. I just came back from Madison, Wisconsin, and it was the cutest place I've ever seen in my life. You know, I was like Gilmore Girls. I didn't even know it existed like that. Like I knew I knew Wisconsin was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's cool. Like basically like if I have a male friend, you know, in tattooing that I don't really see that often, but when I do see him, and it's like, people are like, what the hell was that? And they're like the loudest high fives, hardest hugs. They're probably Wisconsin boys. It's just yeah, just how they are. It's great. But it's adorable there. You know, they have seasons that are really pretty. A lot of college towns, a lot of like cool like football and sports and stuff. So people are like really chummy as a community. You know,
they have the Packers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, cheese?
I don't know sports. I don't know sports. I actually didn't eat any cheese when I was there.
Really?
Zero cheese.
That's all I know about that. Well, because How I Met Your Mother, the one of the main boys in it was from Wisconsin.
Well, they have the cheese heads.
Yeah, like and so he'd wear the thing. That's all I know about Wisconsin.
I mean, I shouldn't, but I like it. But I shouldn't.
Yeah, that's how I know.
I mean, it makes me feel terrible, not emotionally sometimes, but. I didn't eat any, and I was like, I didn't even get it in at the airport or nothing. But I did work my butt off, and everyone was super nice there. It was super busy, and it was fall, and it was beautiful. Florida, I will go back to every now and again and tattoo my people down there. I still love the beach, you know, still a beach girl. I don't know. Yeah, there's like an odd little mountain in New Hampshire. There's like an odd little ski resort in Massachusetts that I really like. And I don't know, the older I get, like the less travel I feel like I can do, like as far as exploring new places. Like I really just like, oh, I like that spot. Let's go back. Yeah. My next is either I have a list because there's a lot of places. We had planned and then COVID, you know? Yeah. So I'm still trying to go back around and get all those places, you know? Yeah, but we'll see. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel very comfortable here right now. So we'll see if I can break away and go. But yeah, you know, time.
And I think that was everything. Okay, I appreciate you being on. This was awesome.
Okay,
this
cool.
was awesome.
Like,
I've learned a lot from you.
Oh, sick. Yeah, okay, good.
You're like a really cool individual.
Oh, thanks. I'm like,
oh my God, I'm so excited for today.
I'm a hermit too, if it makes you feel any better. Like, keep being a hermit. It will save you. You know, everyone's like, here, don't go out. Don't even care what they say. Just keep being a hermit and drawing.
I just hang out with my dog and I watch movies.
It's good for your skin. Yeah, it's great for your skin.